Warning: this podcast discusses addiction, mental health, and other sensitive topics. Please listen with care and take a break if needed. You are not alone, and support is available. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Malfunction Junction.
Thank you for joining us.
This is Andrew,
This is Jay.
and we're going to go ahead and get right into it and go ahead and listen to last week's episode.
A fantastic one.
It was great. An all-timer for sure. Of the 14 that we have up, 15 being this one, I believe. We have, well, actually, I guess it'd be 16 technically because of the solo episode, which...
Isn't that sick?
Yeah,
Look
so
at us
we
go.
have, we're getting there. We're almost
If you
to
think
20.
it sounded like shit, tell us.
Yeah, if you don't think it sounds good, tell us. If you think we suck at this, fuck you.
We know, but fuck you.
Yeah.
Go screw yourself, yeah.
I forgot to shout out. We have a listener shout out here.
Oh, hell yeah.
Did you? Well, I forgot to write the city down when I was writing the notes from where we had a new listener.
Well, thank you to our new listener.
Thank you. So sure, somewhere. But yeah, we'll get into actually every time we get a new listener that we see where you're from, somewhere new, which we can't see actual like. We're not gonna like track you down. But we can see where you're from. It shows us where you're from, or at least where you listened. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
I think that's
pretty much.
I think it's where you listened.
It's like Spotify data.
Yeah, stuff like that. We don't pay for it. They sell it to us, though.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and we don't even have to buy it.
I'm not a very good salesman.
I hope that's not true. Anyway, yeah. So shout out listeners that at all. We're gonna get into our weekly check-in here. How was your week here last week?
This week was relatively decent. Had good work. Starting to get life picked up again. I'm slowly getting back into the habit of routine, using my days off, getting ready for this move. So I've kind of been getting off my ass a little bit more.
That's
and
good.
the buddy I'm moving in with, ex-Marine, so kind of...
You're gonna have to make your bed. is what you're saying.
He's very like specific about shit. He's a bit of a mental tweaker at times, in a good way.
I know him. That's a good way of describing him.
And so like I'm starting to get my life in order, which is one of the reasons I'm excited.
Can you
to live
imagine
with
if
him.
he were a tweaker?
That'd be rough, dude.
That would be not a good. If he, instead of going to the Marines, he became a drug addict.
Yeah. I just don't know that these needles are the newest models. I don't think they're going to get deep enough in the vein.
Yeah.
I'm going to be losing like at least 10%. Yeah. Shout out to boy
Jesus
Chris.
Christ.
But yeah, so I'm excited for that. I've been kind of getting my shit in order. It's one of the reasons, like I said, I wanted to live with him because I know it's a dude that'll hold me accountable well.
Sure.
So I'm stoked for that. But what about you? How's your week?
My week was good.
Got a lot of big shit going on, huh?
Yeah, I have been
Good
I've been working very hard and a lot for no money, but that's okay because it's about making art.
No money yet.
True, but it's about making the art.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're doing that. We are going into production 10 days from now. I think that's a week from, 6 days from when this episode drops.
Have you guys decided the location?
We have locations.
Fantastic.
We have locations. We have 2 at least, and that are like paid for, or going to be paid for, is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest are kind of going to guerrilla it. One of them is going to be in the hallway over here.
Nice.
And then we're also going to use the like an alleyway down the street near Cava.
Cool. You gonna do a watch party?
Once it's done,
Hell yeah.
I mean, like the thing is that it's like with making a film, it's not like you shoot it and then you're like, okay, here it is.
Yeah, right.
It's
Okay,
like
fair
you
enough,
have
fair
fucking.
enough.
It's probably
fucking
6 months out
Jesus Christ.
because it's like I have to. I mean, and more probably $5,000 more dollars than what we would like to have for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Which, speaking of, if you have money, please donate. I'll drop the GoFundMe in the.
If you know any rich
episode
white
notes.
guys that will donate fat checks for like 1 or 2 feet pics, max, maybe 3 for
Jay's
me.
on the hook for those.
Yeah, that's fine. I
But
got pretty feet.
we could use. It's not a horror film as we need to change the GoFundMe, but it's a suspense thriller rather. It's a great idea written by homeboy Travis over at Pumpkin Hill Radio. Shout out the boys.
Shout out
Travis and
that
Dawson.
psychopath.
Yep. Travis and Dawson, shout out. But yeah, we are. We've been working hard at it, and we go into production soon. Been raising money for it, able to pay everybody, or not everybody, but pay the actors and the locations. So that's great.
Yep.
It feels good to be able to do that. It was
Hit
good.
the button.
Oh, I think it's this one. Yeah. All right, cool.
Congrats, buddy. I'm happy
it felt
for you.
good to call the. It felt good to call the actors and tell them like, hey, we're going to be able to pay you.
Mm-hmm.
Even they had all signed on to do it for free. So shout out the actors. I'm not going to name them yet until we have some promo stuff available for the film. But shout out the actors that are in the film. You guys are awesome.
If you need a fat guy cameo, holler at me.
We may in the future.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny. It actually probably would have fit the Gary character, the main character, like description in it. It was kind of like it was the guy that was a night cook at a retirement home. All right.
Yo, the part that pisses me off is, yeah, you're right. Yeah. I do fit that pretty well. Shit, the long hair, letting the beard grow out, just like,
yeah.
Where's the fucking olive oil?
Yeah. So, but otherwise, I did get to also kick back a little bit this week. My girlfriend and I went and saw the band Goose over at Fiddler's Green Amphitheater. Fiddler's Green Amphitheater.
Tight.
It was, and it's down in Greenwood Village.
Cool.
Not far from here. But it was. I wasn't like the hugest fan of Goose, really, and I'm not like a huge fan, I should say, but they do kick ass live. Those guys do know how to fucking put on a good show.
I've seen a few bands like that where I'm like, I'd never listen to this, but this is fucking awesome.
No, it was.
Vibes are great.
I mean, I've listened to it outside of that, and that was why I was willing to go, because I'd heard of them, but it was still like, I don't really generally listen to them, but when I was listening to it, when I was at the show, I was like, this is fucking incredible. Like, these guys are kick ass. But yeah, so it was a good week overall. We'll get right into this segment, everybody's favorite, clean but still a mess.
Of course. So now let's hear the butt to your great week.
I don't want to name any names, but we had some stuff fall through with the film with some people that were signed on to do the. Yeah, signed on is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. They were like in full agreement to do it. And then they just went dark. And now it's like, yo, we got 10 days, and they texted me and was like, yo, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, because I like, if I get this job, I'll be able to do it. If I don't get this job, I won't be able to do it. And I was like, yo, I don't fucking have time to just wait for you. I have to find someone to shoot this, to like record the sound for this film. We have everything we need. And so then it forced me to kind of pivot, and I did do that.
King of the pivot.
Attaboy. And I was able to. We bought some sound equipment. We haven't found someone to do it yet, but we have a couple options. We have a meeting after we get done recording this to discuss some stuff about that. But yeah, it's the way what I wrote down for clean but still a mess was people not sticking to their word and fucking me over, but others stepping up to the plate to help me figure it out. And there were quite a few people that have, within the breadth of this film being made at the pre-production stage, there's been a shout out Harrison Bergamot. You're the man, dude. He's my director of photography. He's been killing it in terms of putting in work for this and been able to be, really interested, and he asks really great questions. So shout out Harrison. And then also my lovely girlfriend, Magdalene De Jesus. She's fucking the best. She's been on. I can't even begin to describe how helpful it's been to have her.
Because she is in school for.
She went to school for film.
That's awesome.
And she's in school now for something else. But she knows all the intricacies of the pre-production process and was really good at it. And honestly, I don't know if this film gets made, at least not right now, not at this point, without her help.
Shout out DJ.
Yeah, shout out DJ. So yeah, it's been a interesting week. Yeah, how about you?
Okay, so my clean but still a mess. Maybe holds a little less gravity than your situation, while simultaneously literally having to do more so with gravity than your situation. So for our audio only listeners here, I don't know if you can tell by the panting after I talk for too long, but your boy's gotten a little fat. Okay, your boy's become a big old grease ball. All right, and I decided, because I used to be a pretty good athlete, like a college offered wrestler. I started talking shit to a much slimmer individual at the bar, saying I think my exact words were, "I will dust the fuck out of you. I promise on my life." Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Cool. So after I made this little, couple of these little comments, promising, saying, "I guarantee you, I will smoke you," we went outside and we lined it up.
Never a good idea.
No. Probably got 100 pounds on this dude.
Well, and also you're, 25, 26 now?
Yeah.
You don't have the same knees you did when you were 18.
No, and more importantly, hips.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize.
Yep. You sore after that one?
Brother. So first of all, okay. I feel like I did all right.
You came in second.
It was pretty close.
Third place was...
Yeah, he didn't gap me at all, which I was happy about. I had a little lead at first.
Yeah, no, you did. You did come off to a really hot start.
Yeah.
I think I did post it on the Malfunction Junction podcast story.
Yeah.
So if you were able to see that.
There was a point about 5 steps into that race where I felt something in my hip, and I went, "Oh no, I'm going to eat shit."
You almost did.
And then I was like...
I was pretty proud of you that you didn't. It would have been...
humiliating.
Well, it would have been such good content.
It would have been humiliating.
We would have gotten 500 new followers.
Yes. Humiliating. Yeah. I understand where your head's at. But I went out there thinking, I'm going to go get this guy real quick. Nobody needs to know. This is for my ego and him.
Everybody came out.
And yeah, somehow we ended up with 25 people lined up. Like, oh shit, let's see what's going on. I'm like, why the fuck are you guys here? So if I had eaten shit, it would have been a bad time.
The best.
Regardless, the next day,
oh yeah,
after a single sprint, because I haven't exercised.
Well, don't forget to mention the fact that you damn near lost your wallet.
Oh,
I don't know how you found it or where you found it, but
behind it. Well, this is gonna sound weird, but like it was behind a nitrous tank, not the party kind,
just the
business restaurant,
kind. That is still the party kind, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not using it for
it wasn't there for
That's
recreational purposes. Exactly. So yeah, anyhow, dude, I woke up the next day and your boy was in a fucking tizzy.
Oh, dude. I
was like, what happened? The inside of my thighs, my fucking feet, my ankles, hips. And I was like, dude, it's time. So since then, it has forced me to reorganize my life a little bit. Started applying for a gym membership. It was a real wake-up call of like, oh, fuck, I can't handle even remotely a bit of physical activity, because it's really important to me that, like, as a man, I'm capable of sticking up in situations. And I'm like, dude, if you said, hey, this person's going to die, just run up to the hospital and tell them, because none of the fucking phones are working. I'd be like, yeah, it's 2 blocks away. We're fucked. They're going to die. Like, I'm not getting there.
Yeah.
Like,
That's not good.
Gotta let them go, dude.
You're going to have to. How old are they? Ah, shit. They're a kid?
I'll walk and we'll see.
I can figure this out. Let's just stick out a thumb. Hitchhike this way.
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully some dude lets me jump in the back of his pickup truck.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's a dually, because I don't want to fuck up his suspension.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So that's it was quite the scene to see you run like that. Not to say that you didn't impress me with your jump start. It's not you got off on, like, it wasn't like you started early. You started right at the bang. Mm-hmm. And you got off like a probably 5-yard head start.
Yeah,
maybe, I don't even know, but quite a bit of head start on him, and he caught up to you.
Yeah, that was years of fucking playing football, getting off the line, dog.
Yeah. You're pretty good at that.
Appreciate you.
Okay, so we're gonna get into the part here of our listener question, which actually this one came up in a conversation this week, not from an email. How do you celebrate while remaining free of your substance of choice? Meaning, the conversation's context was celebrating wins in either in recovery, whether it be like a sober day, or whether it's like for example, like I graduated college recently. How do you celebrate that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you celebrate stuff like the stuff that is big that you should celebrate, but you don't really have a. I mean, you used to go celebrate by let's go out and drink, let's go out and party,
or even some holidays with family where there's alcohol involved. And
how do you celebrate while remaining from your substance of choice?
Mm-hmm.
And it's extremely hard to do. I've been able to do it for 2 years now, coming up pretty soon, 6 days. That I'll have 2 years off of alcohol, and the hardest parts really are within drinking, given that other people do it too, and it's like it's bred into the culture. And you don't want to tell people like, yeah, hey, I don't want you to drink around me.
Right.
Dude, you don't want to feel like a buzzkill. You used to be a party animal. You don't want to feel like a buzzkill. So I hate doing that, and I hate telling people like I don't want you to drink around me. The only way that I'll ever do that is if it's like a problem drinker. If someone's like an absolute problem drinker and they're just getting absolute shit-faced, I may tell them, hey, I don't want to be around you when you're drinking.
Right.
You do whatever you want. I don't want to be around you when you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Which I've seen. You've had to put that foot down before.
Yeah.
And you've set your boundaries quite clearly, which I think is an important aspect of it.
Setting your boundaries is a huge part of especially this. Like, you have to know that you have to set a boundary with yourself, even within the celebration. I am not going to do whatever the substance of choice, the harmful substances. But also, that's difficult to do while other people are drinking. And I've always found it's incredibly helpful to have. I mean, look, if you're fully sober, it's difficult to have anything around. I mean, you can drink the sodas, you can drink the NA beers, you can drink the seltzers, seltzer waters, whatever. But none of it's the same. I mean, you have to really have something under your belt, like you have healed from the alcoholism, quote unquote.
Right. From the ability to withhold yourself
from that. And if you're a new person in recovery and you're still unsure about your, whether or not you're going to be able to hold back from drinking if you aren't able to, you should probably not go to that.
Well, and I think from our conversations, you did that really well with maybe not I don't know how much about the celebratory aspects, but like, we talked about that with stand-up comedy, like keeping distance from that scene because of you being unsure about whether or not you'd be able to maintain your boundaries.
Right.
And so it's like, there are definitely people, we've talked about this before on the podcast, we've talked about this before just in general life, but there are certain individuals that just don't have the impulse control.
No.
Right? Like they're too far, and that's where you need this like full sobriety. There are certain people that can do the California sober and take the harm reduction path. Yeah. And there are some people that are just anything they touch becomes a vice.
Turns to a vice.
And so for those individuals, the truth is like if the celebration involves that, you can't go. The only exception, I think, really,
unless you're able to withhold.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're one of those types of people and you lack that ability, the only circumstance which I think you might have some success with, and I'm hesitant in saying or even suggesting this because I've had a couple friends that went out with me. This happened to a buddy of mine who passed away. Mm-hmm. He went out. His other friend did. Some painkillers, which was his drug of choice. And he didn't do it then, but after then is when he relapsed because he was back around it again. Sure, and I think it kind of revived that.
No,
like,
I can.
Oh, fuck.
Well, it hits that part of your brain where you're like, you remember what it feels like, almost. You can taste what it feels like.
Yeah, you're seeing someone else enjoy the thing that you used to fucking die for. And, the thing is, outside of those circumstances, the one suggestion I could make is that if you're somebody who struggles with the boundaries and self-control aspect, you go with people that genuinely can hold you accountable.
Yeah, that's one way to do it too.
Right, like if you go out with certain friends and you're like, yo, I can't drink. And they're like, dog, if you touch me, I'm slapping it out of your hands. Yeah. And you have those types of people in your life, then I think there's a little bit more leeway in terms of what you can be around.
If you're able to have those friends around you, the world opens up a lot more, but it also creates kind of a codependency type thing within those people. And you should, that's why, and that's when I first started getting off alcohol and drugs, I did have that kind of thing around me where it was like the people that, because we were all kind of accountable within each other and codependent within each other.
Right.
Because we were all like, dude, I remember there was some girl that I was really into back then, and she like relapsed, and I like damn near relapsed because of that.
Yeah. I know a
like,
few people that have done that
and
too.
it's just because like, you're like, well, shit, like they're having fun, like, and like and you're also like, I was 22, I wasn't fucking done. I had just started.
You had gas in the tank.
I had gas in the fucking tank, dude. I needed to keep going. And so, a gas in the tank and another 1,000 miles to go.
Exactly.
So
we'll be all right.
We'll be all right. So, we almost weren't. But, the codependency part is a tough one because you can get to that point with people where you're within recovery. I think we've seen it in our community too with some people that are quote unquote fully sober, and who I think we'll mention some names after the pod.
Yeah, probably.
But that we've seen like where they're kind of codependent within each other.
I think the word that I used a lot in the past that is something that is a legitimate psychological concept and people should be aware of is trauma bonding.
Yes, trauma bonding is a real thing.
Right, and this like idea of, I did this thing and I'm insecure about it and I hate myself for it, but you did it too, and so I won't judge you if you don't judge me.
Right.
And then sometimes in those circles, and this is relatively consistent, is it does open up eventually this idea of like kind of what's the word I'm looking for, breaking the boundaries a little bit, because you're both making the same fucked up mistake. Those were friends I had that we ended up kind of drinking again, and we'd be good about it for a while, and it's
right.
like, all right, dude, okay, fine, we'll do it together, and I was
right.
like, all right,
yeah.
cool.
Yep.
And that can be really dangerous. I mean, I think we've talked about this again, but like, why in AA you have somebody who's been through the program and is clean, like somebody who's not in the same position.
Sponsor.
Because when you're going with someone who's at the same point, my cousin and I were like this a lot.
Yeah.
Like we had both kind of had the same fucked up shit and like really had the same mental struggles and
right.
battles with depression and anxiety and shit. And so every time we were around each other, we'd go, all right, dude, like we can't be going out tonight. We got to start saving money. We'd have these conversations about getting together and be like, dude, okay, he gets me. He's going to keep me in track.
And then you go.
And then we'd end up going and get fucked up,
yep.
spend a ton of money.
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck, we ended up back in the same point again. And then I'm back in the cycle. And it was just because at the end of the day, too, I don't know how much this transposes itself onto other people's thinking, but for me, I think about when I'm in those moments around him where I wanted to drink, smoke, go spend a fuck ton of money, do whatever I knew I was trying to get away from. If he did start to be like, yo, dude, you can't do that, I'd go, fuck you, you did the same shit, don't be a hypocrite. And I'd give my addict brain would then start finding a way to justify why his, stance on it or his attempt to hold accountability to me was invalid.
I did the same thing, and I lost a good friend because of that. And I the thing is, I don't necessarily regret that, but I did within the same thing go, fuck you, dude, you're a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite.
Right.
And like.
Yeah, your brain finds the way.
Yeah.
It sees the path of least resistance. And if it's like, I really want this thing, all right, well, I mean, you're fucking, dude, like, your life's all perfect. Oh, dude, like, you've got it all together. Come on now, fuck you. And then you can start justifying that, like, oh, he's just being controlling. Dude, you're trying to live through me. Don't do that. And then the next thing you know, you're doing something you know isn't good for you. And that person who you care about and loves you is no longer like a person who has any ability to influence your actions and outcomes.
That 100%, occurs in my life, or has occurred in my life before.
That's why that trauma bonding is so dangerous, because you get around them thinking, all right, well, I won't judge you if you don't judge me. And there's like, well, now you can't judge me. And what's the point of your accountability? Those friend groups can be very, very dangerous.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the most dangerous part of codependency is that the shit, if you were on your own, you'd have to figure out, now becomes put to the wayside, right? Like if you were on your own, you'd have to find a way to deal with this, and you'd have to find a way to process things. But now you're with these people, you're a little distracted, they're not going to bug you about the same shit, and all of a sudden you can kind of fade off into whatever other bullshit you got going on in your life.
Those people may do things that are bullshit in their lives, and
right, and then you're dragged into it.
Yeah, and back into it, whatever it is. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. It's I had written down that if you aren't fully sober going to those event type parties or celebrations, and you are able to find something that is a harm reduction type substance, finding that option and then having a way to go about it, whether it be everybody else is what I do at my family stuff is I'll smoke weed while they all drink alcohol, and I won't do it around them. But the deal is that I'm not gonna smoke weed around them, but they're not gonna get ridiculously drunk, and that's the deal. And I'm fine with and they're fine as long as it stays within those boundaries. And so, I think to say that you need to come up with an option and an understanding within the people around you that, hey, this is what I got to do so that I don't do that. That's bad for me.
Right.
If it's alcohol that we're talking about here at the party type celebration, it's one thing if your drug of choice is like heroin or something, and it's like no one's really doing that around you unless you're in that seedy situations again. But I think the goal for anybody that's in an addict of something at all should be to grow from that and move past that.
Agreed.
And so if you are really on that real dark path, then you got to kind of get out of the darkness and get into a...
Do you think there was anything in specific that you found for, like, anything you would do to celebrate or cherish things where it was, like, up to you that allowed you to stay away from that?
I like cigars.
Yeah, okay.
Cigars are fantastic because you can have it with a beverage that's, it goes great with, like, a Dr. Pepper. If you have like a nice spicy cigar with a Dr. Pepper, it's like a palate cleanser with it. And I don't know, man. That's what I do.
I believe you, but it's the most American thing to be like, yeah dude, you fucking smoke a Maduro, drink a Dr. Pepper.
That's exactly what I do.
Because it sounds amazing to me. I feel like
smoke
I love
a Maduro with a Dr. Pepper. That's
you
I
ever
have
dipped it
in the Dr. Pepper. No,
I've heard I only did it one time. I didn't really like it because I did it with a beer when I was in college, and it was not my thing.
No.
But I've heard that dip cigars are fantastic. I've mainly heard of people doing it with like
wine and
nice
rum.
Yeah, but I feel like with
whiskey and...
You ever had like Dr. Pepper wings or anything?
That shit's pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty fucking fantastic. Pretty good. It's got a good flavor to it.
But so when I graduated college, I was planning on smoking a cigar to celebrate, and then it just kind of got away from me, and I never did it. And I was just like, because I graduated and started company like the next day, so I haven't had a break. So I have 6 cigars in a vacuum lock bag at my house. We should smoke one. Yes, we should. We should do that soon. But I have once we finish production, I have a plan to smoke the big one that's in there, in that humidor over there.
Head honcho.
And that was given to me by Cooper. Shout out Cooper. Over at Denver Storm Door.
Shout out the door boy.
Yeah, man. He gave me Jesus. He gave me a nice fat cigar about a year ago, and I've been storing it in a nice Ziploc bag with a fucking whatever humid pouch in there that I keep replacing. But it's still nice.
Yeah,
it's still nice. Yeah.
But to draw that back, I do think that things like that, having outlets, are
and
important.
Even that one's kind of tough sometimes, because when I first started doing that, I got like addicted to doing that. I was hanging out at like cigar bars a lot. I wasn't drinking.
Right, and then you're dragged back into being.
Well, I wasn't
in that
drinking.
But for some people, being in that presence, and getting dragged back into it could be a high risk.
I was still doing either the non-alcoholic beers or just like a soda with it. But it's expensive. Cigars are expensive, number one. And you can suck those things down if you're in the mood for that. So you can go through. I've gone through 4 or 5 in a day, and been like, holy shit! I just spent $50.
Yeah.
And it was like I spent $50 today. That's way more than I ever spent out drinking days, because I would just buy a pack of smokes and like a couple of beers, a 6-pack of beer, and that's fucking $20, and you're fucked up. For at least it's for me. If I buy strong beer and fucking a pack of cigarettes,
The fact that you could smoke 5 cigars in a day is something.
yeah, I can
I'd
chief,
throw up like
I
a
can
motherfucker.
Chief shit, dude. I can smoke with the
Big
best.
lungs.
Yeah,
Big lungs.
At this point in my life, they're fucking just so scarred up that it doesn't matter.
Fair.
Yeah. But yeah. That's one of the things I do for sure. Definitely, I love the kava and kratom stuff when it comes in help. The kratom I can get how it's
Addictive
difficult.
potential.
It is definitely addictive and it has a more addictive potential. But it's where I'm at with it is I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on it, and also I use it for a specific purpose, being that I have quite a severe amount of pain due to surgeries in the past.
The risk with that now I'm scared of is like, for so long, I was such a large proponent of bringing people I knew that struggled with drinking and other negative habits into kava and kratom bars.
Right.
Friends that I had that had pain pill addictions. Being like, dude, you can come fucking get a little tiny bit, like scratch that itch a little bit.
Yeah.
Without being too fucked up to do anything, without really ever getting like fucked up, Right. You might get like a little buzz, but this will be much better for you, and da 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 da. And my only concern ever there was, all right, maybe you're going to end up spending a little more than you'd like. The problem is now my fear with getting new people into it is this 708 shit.
Yep.
And if you're listening to this, I cannot stress this enough. I've been around this industry
Don't
for
fuck with this shit.
What? Let's see, going on 7 years now, 7 to 8. I've done distribution and import in the creative industry. I have been operations manager for a company that moved legitimately hundreds of tons, hundreds of thousands of pounds, probably over 1 million pounds of kratom has passed through the company I worked with while I was with them.
Sure.
Nothing that I've seen in the hundreds of extracts and all the different mixes and things we white labeled and drinks we've made comes anywhere close to the shit that's on the market right now.
With the 7OH.
This stuff is so insanely addictive.
It's insanely addictive and it's insanely potent, too.
And it's destroying the reputation of our industry.
Yeah.
Because calling it kratom is really unfair. It exists in like a 0.01%, but you're isolating this compound and then you're adding heat and acid, exposing it, letting it sit for a while, and then you're converting this chemical in a way that's artificial. And now you're getting these incredibly high concentrations of something that is...
It's the crack cocaine effect.
Right. It's 60 to 70 times stronger than what you're getting at like a bar.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of... Like, it's kombucha.
Morphine.
It's kombucha versus, like, moonshine. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's that level of a gap.
Literally, yeah.
And, I'm genuinely concerned now for some of the people that might be getting in the industry. It's like, all right, well, I get in, and now... All right, well, extracts are easier for me. And then, what's this shit? Like I worry about that loophole and rabbit hole, I guess, for a lot of people.
No, I agree.
But at the end of the day, I still think that if you have the right community...
That's not better than alcohol. But
no.
But the idea of if you... what you're saying is...
Yeah, like if you can be in the community, stay around that, drink teas...
Yeah. Then it is better.
Yeah, and having things like that for the celebration factor in life has kept me from doing a lot of dumb shit, man.
Me too, man.
And the hard part, to reiterate kind of what we already said earlier about, the celebration factor, is there's certain shit, depending on who you are, you might just have to stay away from. That there is no, like, well, fucking... It's like, if you're really about your business and you're just getting into recovery... There are times when you're just going to have to go, yeah, no, you're celebrating at a bar, at a pool hall that's got alcohol, fucking everybody's drinking at a barbecue. No, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And then with time, maybe that becomes an option if you have the right people.
Like that. Right. I still say no to shit like that. Not because necessarily, it's a mood thing based on how I feel that day kind of thing. If it's just like, dude, I feel like I want to drink today anyway. I don't need to be around other people drinking going, why don't you drink? Oh, you don't drink? Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, and I think that the question...
By the way, fuck people that say that. Wow, that's weird you don't drink. It's weird that you do drink.
People say that shit too?
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Damn, that's fucking
Yeah,
brutal.
I've been told that at parties before.
Made me fly off the handle.
Well, they'll just be fucking drunk as shit. They'll be like, what? It's some drunk girl that's just like, you don't drink? That's so fucking weird, dude. Just like, dude, fuck you. You're a dumb bitch.
Ignorant as hell.
Dumb drunk bitch.
All right. But I think the question of like, how do you find new ways to celebrate really is how do you find new community? That should be your focus. And we've talked about this. We got another episode on that. Check that shit out.
Yo.
But it should be, you have to find other groups, or you have to find people that are willing to reasonably bend to what your needs are in life. Right.
Yeah.
Friends that are like, all right, dude, I get it. You can't drink. And not what we talked about earlier, this like codependency. Well, like, well, maybe we can go and we'll do it together. But somebody who actually has that ability to say, all right, bro, I love you. Let's just go let's go to the park, dude. Let's go fucking hit the beach, whatever. Yeah, or like, we'll just go out to a regular restaurant, no drinking, and we'll do a fun time. We'll go to a bowling alley.
Right, yeah.
Night. But you have people that can rearrange kind of the ways in which they celebrate in order to accommodate you. And if they can't, then you may have to just bite the bullet on that one. That is how life works.
You may just have to keep and to grow past those people.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
You got anything else on that topic?
That's about it, dude.
No worries. We got the how am I just hearing of this topic next, and you are scheduled to go first on that one.
Cool. So I just put it down as the rule of man, but it's something that I've recently really started to develop in my life. I've long tried to be a man of principle, heavily get into like the aspects of Stoicism and Taoism and Buddhism and Christianity, and understand where my place in the world is and what it means to be principled and what it means to be fulfilled. And for a long time, I very much like the Aristotle way of thinking of like virtue isn't known, it's practiced, and then it becomes habituated into your character. And are you a virtuous man? Yes or no? Nobody knows. You just do it. Right. And you do virtuous things over and over and over again until it becomes habituated into your character. And when that line is crossed, nobody knows. And if you stop because you think you crossed the line, then that means you didn't cross the line. Right. So you just do it for the end of eternity. And that was really good for me. But it's still kind of, I still struggle with the boundaries of what that meant, right? And what it meant to act virtuously. And it wasn't until very recently, through watching some other shit and a couple of conversations I had, that I think I finally established in my mind what it means to be a man. And that is to be an active asset to your community. That in your presence, people and the things around you improve.
I can agree with that.
Right? And it embodies the qualities of being inherently a leader, of finding what your value is, of working on your, the things that detract from your stance in the world, right? Mm-hmm. So then it boils down to two components. You can't do things that hurt yourself in a way that limit your ability to help others. I'm struggling with that with things like, whether it's my weight or my lifestyle choices, and I'm not as like free in my schedule as I'd like to be. So when friends need me, I'm really not that available. It's hard for me to hang out with people. It's hard for me to stick through with plans. And I know that weighs heavily on people. And I've had those conversations with friends in the past that are frustrated of like, dude, I just want to fucking hang out and talk to you. My brother, we talked recently, and he's like, dude, I never get to speak to you. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, you call me when I'm busy, and I'm really not. I'm mentally busy, and I can't deal with it at that moment.
That's part of growing up.
It is. And I'm realizing now that part of what I want for my maturity and to be that man, again, of an asset to all those around, is that I tamper the parts of myself that limit my ability to help others. And I like this way of thinking that it's been developed, like I said, through some of the people around me, because it gives room for people who may not fit the qualifications of every other standard, I guess you could say, of like what it means to be a man. And that's what I struggled with when I was younger. For a long time I thought it meant like physical dominance when I was young. It was like, absolutely. Oh, well, if I'm the toughest guy, and then it's like, well, I'm an asshole and people don't like me, and nobody will talk to me about anything. Right. And so then it was like, all right, well, I guess it's to be smart and educated. And so I would try winning debates. And then I was like, okay, I'm right all the time and nobody will listen to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting through to anyone.
Right.
And so now that I've kind of established this, I've spent a lot of time, and some of this has already manifested itself. But like, at the community we have, there's a lot of people there that live lives that I don't really agree with, that I'm pretty traditional morally. But I have a lot of friends in these communities of people who don't live that way, because I still love them and I'm trying to help them become better people and see the best in them.
Right.
And so it's made me a lot less combative. I don't have the interest in being on the right side of things. I have an interest of trying to bring people into that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so I had a long conversation with a buddy of mine a couple days ago, Shout out Spence. But in the nature of, like, there are other people at the bar who I'm more aligned with morally on certain things that complain about certain things that go on in the bar or certain groups of people. Yeah. And for me, and because of the way that I've started to live my life and trying to just be an asset to people, I have an influence on those types of communities that other people don't.
Right.
That, like, I have a lot of friends that are in the furry community or polyamorous.
Sure.
And I don't live that way. That's not my thing. But I have those friends, and we've had a lot of talks, and I've been able to, at least it seems, to help them kind of establish more open or strong moral views on things. And to the people that have been reactive to that, even though they may have agreed with me, they've only pushed those people further away.
Right.
So I've been really trying to work on this stance as a man, because that fucked me up for a long time, dude. I always felt inadequate.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I could never just be like, well, I do
imagine
help
that
people in this way.
somewhat. I mean, I like to think of life kind of as a path in the woods with you kind of have a quest of what you're like the man's search for meaning, right? That's the old book of it. But I feel like yours probably, given your experience with your father,
Right.
it has something to do with what is a man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The question that you're trying to answer is what is a man, and what does it mean to be a man, rather.
Right, because he did that in, like, the traditional sense of, like, the toughness and the coaching and the leadership.
Sure.
And it killed him.
Yeah.
He fucking fell apart. And so it was like, all right, well, this doesn't work. And then every other dude I knew that was tough as fuck and, like, had been through hell and back and,
Right.
you know, could be everything that was, like, I thought a man was. They were all alcoholics and falling apart in life.
Well, they're all hiding from themselves.
Right. Their marriages ended and their kids hated them. And it's like,
they're all hiding from
fuck,
something.
I don't wanna
They're
do
all
that.
hiding from the idea of healing. They're all hiding from the idea of themselves and the fact that they might be. It's all just things that they feel happen to them and hold them back because of it, rather than being able to grasp that and move forward from it.
Exactly, yeah. And now that I finally started to develop this a little more and kind of come into myself a bit, I'm realizing now that, like, these other things that I saw growing up, like this avoidance to therapy and discussing things about it and working past your addictions and being able to have conversations with people that disagree with you without getting agitated, like, those things all limit your ability to have a positive impact on people around you. And now it's become a lot more clear to me, like, it just in this last, like, probably 2 weeks, man. I mean, I've had a big jump in my, like, self-esteem. Where I go, wait, yes. I do have shit I can offer people right now.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Like, I do have that friendship and the shoulder to offer, even if I don't have everything else. Appreciate you, buddy. So, yes, that's been good now. Wish I knew it earlier. Wish I knew it earlier. I mean,
but I think that's earlier.
Here we are.
Earlier is irrelevant.
Right.
You know?
Here we are. We got there. What about you?
How am I just now hearing of... Well, I learned this before. I read the 4 Agreements a while ago. That's where I got this one today. But don't make assumptions. I think that's something that I need to get better at, and also I need to... I really just need to get better at that, because I make assumptions of people that people are going to work as hard as I am, and I need to find a group of people that are willing to work as hard as me in terms of, like, with the way I work with people, and I think I have for the most part. I've been collecting those people per se, but
building a community.
It's some of it is sometimes within that you find people that aren't willing to do that. And it's tough when that happens, and you can't really assume that people aren't going to work as hard as you are, or you can't assume that people are going to not work harder than you are, but you also at the same time you have to you can only control what you're doing, and you can't assume anything of anybody else. I mean that's that old cliche statement that assume that makes an ass out of you and me.
Yep.
And yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
Yeah, I think the one thing too with assumptions is that there's a big difference between having a standard and then setting an assumption or expectation about somebody meeting that standard. Right. Like, if you bring someone on and you're like, all right, here's the bar, dude. And then you have to just step back and give them an opportunity to see if they clear it. And if they don't, as long as you don't have those assumptions and expectations set, it's easy to go, okay, well, I'm going to pivot. And, you know what I mean? We're on to the next thing. Yeah. and you're not tied to needing it to work out.
Right.
It's still okay to have some standards, and you know what I mean, to like have your bars and your rules, and you know what I mean, like those are all normal aspects of
Right.
being a mature individual and having those boundaries. And if you know, for whatever we talked about earlier with your clean but still a mess, like if you said, hey man, this is the bar, and they said, yeah, I got you, there, it's reasonable to have that, you know, idea, okay, this is going to happen.
Right.
But it's the whether or not you're tethered to the outcome of that will then frustrate the ever-loving dog shit out of you, because people will lay you down 1,000 times over and over.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to take that in stride, roll with the punch, and pivot out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's, I guess we'll go on to our last segment here.
Probably my favorite.
Your favorite.
I really like talking about the songs, man.
I love music, dude. And maybe we'll spend more time on music in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But my song of the week this week is a Billy Strings song, popular on this podcast.
A recurring guest.
A recurring artist of the song of the week. This one is a song called Richard Petty. And the lyrics go, at least the beginning of the song, it's an a cappella song. And the lyrics are, one of these days I'll wake up tired of the life I'm living and feel inspired to get off my ass, and be on my way. Yep. And then one of these days I'll wake up steady and ready to go like Richard Petty. I'm going to wake up and change my ways one of these days. That's good.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Is Richard Petty the old NASCAR driver?
Yeah.
Who's the singer?
This one?
No. There's another.
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I always mix the two up.
Yeah.
Richard Petty was the one that drove that fucking Thunderbird with that big
Yes.
wing, right?
Yeah,
that shit was. I don't know if that's what the name of the car is.
I have
That
no
big
idea.
fucking the giant ass spoiler in the back. It was in Cars, the movie.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about? It has
that's
that
not Richard Petty.
Thunderbird.
I don't think that's Richard Petty.
No?
I think was he in Smokey and the Bandit?
What the fuck is
Who,
that?
who are you thinking about?
What the fuck is that? Hold on, I'm gonna look up Richard Petty's car real quick. Dun dun dun. Yes, dude, this thing.
Am I thinking of the wrong person? Oh, that thing. That's okay. Yeah, no, I was thinking of
These
the wrong.
things are
I was thinking
sick.
of a completely different thing. I'm thinking of fucking. I'm thinking of Burt Reynolds for some reason. I don't know why. Somehow that's what.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those things are sick. Really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so my song for the week, Constant Pressure by a band called Relate, out of Denver.
Oh.
Brand new startup. When they do eventually start doing shows, or at least posting about it where I can see, I'm going to go, and you're going to go with me.
I'm down.
They're a sick little band. A little rock and roll-y, kind of, I think they're called post-pop punk or something like that. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's Blink-182, but straighter. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
It's a little manlier, you know?
Okay.
But they have a bunch of fucking awesome songs. Are You Sober Now? Are You on the Rebound? Did you find a state of mind where you can't hide from yourself? Are you sad that you've been missing out? I never thought this out loud. You spent all my time trying to unwind. Caught under this constant pressure. And that's the recurring theme of the song.
Nice.
You're constantly stuck under this pressure of the way that you're living and the way you treat yourself. It's been, obviously, it is the nature of this podcast. It has been the nature of almost every week of my discussion for the clean but still a mess of living under the pressure of my own expectations and struggles and coping mechanisms and so on.
Yep.
And those are the things we're trying to break out of. So it's been a great song.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody, thank you for listening. That's the end of this episode. We're going to ask you that you go ahead and follow our Instagram. That is at Malfunction Junction Podcast. You can go ahead and email us also any of your questions that you have.
At malfunctionjunctionpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes. And if you could, you can donate to the Night Cook production, which is in the link below for GoFundMe. Even if you don't want to donate, you can share it. And even if you don't want to share it, you can look at what we've been working on. We will have, by the time this is posted, we will have little 1-minute videos recorded with me and Travis talking about the film, as well as some information about the film for it. just written up. And yeah, so if you're interested in what we're doing, you can click on that link and GoFundMe. And please donate, but you don't have to.
Yeah. At least like the post. Get some traction.
Yeah, do something. Do something with it. Share it, whatever. Share, like, subscribe. I hate saying that. I'm never going to say that again. Anyway, that's pretty
All
much
right,
it
everybody.
for us.
Thanks for listening. Go smash that fucking like button, dude.
All
Have a
right,
great
everybody,
week.
Have a good night.